We have quite a few local stories to cover from Monica, Ken, and Grant. I definitely want to discuss that today if we have some time. But we have a bunch of experts here. 4 different guests, I believe, we're going to try to get on the show today. 3 of them are from out of town, out of state, but they're covering the corruption in Massachusetts. So I am very excited for this show today. We're going to have attorney Corey Hopkins, who has sued the state of Massachusetts over FOIA request about the cost to prosecute Karen Reed. We will be talking to her later today. We've got a local guy in studio, Michael, who wants to recall bad politicians in Massachusetts. We will discuss his ballot initiative. We're hoping to also have Brother Counsel, who's got a great YouTube channel, on later in the show. He's also an attorney. But right now, we have a retired FBI agent. She's got a podcast on Patreon called Caught in the Web. She also has a book, a fiction book. Some of the proceeds are going to 911 first responders. She is an author. The book is called The Bold-Faced Deception. It is also coming up on Christmas, so it's a great time to buy your books. I'm definitely going to buy that book and the Howie Carr book, Mass Corruption. Mass Corruption, you got to get that book as well. I'm going to get these books for Christmas for special people in my life. It's that time of year. Books are always a great thing to buy. I think Jodene is on the phone right now. Welcome to the, I almost said the wrong name, to the Grace Curley Show. Welcome to the Grace Curley Show, Jodene Weber. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, Mike. Thank you so much for having me on.
Doing great. Happy Friday to you. But one of the things I wanted to discuss is you just did a Patreon podcast about Kelsey Fitzsimmons.
I did. I am fascinated by this case. I'm fascinated by the aspects of the shooting and the controversy surrounding how she got shot. I'm fascinated by the incarceration of her, about the scram testing, and by the behavior of the judge. It's very concerning all the way around.
Yes, definitely. And for background for people that maybe don't know, Kelsey Fitzsimmons is a North Andover police officer who had some postpartum depression, had an incident with her fiance. The police showed up. Her partner actually shot her in the chest. It's quite a bit of controversy about what actually happened here. We don't really know, but it kind of went viral this week when the judge went a little bit in a frenzy about the terms of her release from prison. I did talk to Kelsey the day she was released from prison. She's a very tiny individual. The person who shot her, the police officer, is a large man, very large. And for some reason, the judge is very concerned that this woman is going to cause harm to the police officer that shot her. I don't believe that. I think a lot of people have concerns about it. I would like to play the clip if we have that. We're going to play the clip from the judge so people get an idea about what this judge is saying. And really what this has to do with is that she has been shot. She's got severe lung damage, two broken ribs, diaphragm issues. She's not able to breathe into this tube for drug testing, alcohol testing, which is terms of her release. Her attorney wanted to change it to a different form of drug testing because it was hurting her. And this is the judge's response.
Tolerate that the material represented in the
court is not tolerating anything. Okay, let's be clear. I'm not tolerating anything. The court is not tolerating anything. Ms. Fitzsimmons is a defendant. In lieu of incarceration, my order was that she submit to scram. If she cannot do that, I need to know that. Can she do that or not?
Excellent. Jodene, you heard that, I'm sure, this week as well, because it did go viral. What did you think about the judge and her demeanor here in the terms of the release?
Well, I did hear it, and I felt it was highly punitive. I felt, in a way, she was really holding the physical limitations of the defendant against the defendant when she's demanding, well, can she do it or not? it's not that she can't do it. It's that doing it causes her further damage. Her ribs are not able to heal. It's hurting her liver. It's hurting her lungs. It's hurting her diaphragm. And it's causing her substantial pain. So in good faith, they come to court and let the court know, yes, we want to comply with the conditions set by the court. However, there have been unforeseen health complications that have arisen. Can we have an alternative? And to me, it's as if the judge is taking offense to that, as if she's taking this personally, and especially when they talk about, well, this is almost a cruel and unusual situation. To me, the judge came across as, well, I'm offended by what you're allegedly accusing the court of. You knew these were the conditions. If she can't comply, well, then she's not in compliance, and we need to put her back into jail, which, by the way, also presents a potential threat to her. She was a law enforcement officer. She's a former corrections officer. If the inmates within the jail learn of that history and her involvement as part of a member of law enforcement, that could also put her at risk. So I think there's quite a few issues here with the judge and the conduct of the judge.
Absolutely. And the judge didn't seem to care about the fact the probation officer kept saying she's in compliance. She's done everything right. They're just looking to change the testing method. It shouldn't be that hard. They had some options.
Well,
she pretended they didn't have any options.
Well, that's it. My understanding is there's an ankle bracelet that essentially could do a similar monitoring. There could be urinalysis testing done. And the judge is like, well, the whole point is to keep you at home. And if you have to go somewhere to do urinalysis testing, then you're leaving the house. And that creates a problem I don't want created. So I do think, though, it's just unreasonable. And it also, on the surface level of it, appears very insensitive. This young woman has been shot. She was hospitalized for approximately 50 days or so. She clearly has injuries to this part of her body that could hamper breathing into a device. It's one of those devices where you have to breathe for an extended period of time, hold that breath. I don't think it's unusual or unprecedented to foresee that could be something that could cause her difficulty given her recent injuries.
Now, there's a lot of questions about what actually happened and led to the shooting. One of the big issues, I think, for the town of North Andover where this happened is there were no body cameras. What's your take on what happened and the lack of body cameras there as well?
Well, I have a problem with the lack of body cameras. I think all law enforcement officers should have body cameras for their own protection as well as those in the public that they interface with. That's number one. If we had body cameras here, we wouldn't have all these questions. But I will say, even before these three officers arrived at her home, I have a problem with they didn't have a plan in place for presenting her with this information and having some sort of plan of, hey, this may upset you. We will need to take your gun. We will need to take your baby. For your safety and ours, where is your weapon located? Are there other weapons, firearms in the home? We're going to need to take those. We don't want you to get upset. We don't want her to have access to those weapons. So there should have been a plan in place before they ever walked in the front door. And clearly there wasn't. Because eventually, as she's packing up the gear for the baby within the home, eventually she and this Officer Noonan go into a bedroom. And why they allowed her into the bedroom, why they didn't say to her, all right, what other supplies do we need for the child? Where are they located? We will go get them. Because you never want to have someone who could be potentially a risk to themselves, upset, could either harm officers or participate in self-harm. You don't want to give them access to whatever else is located in the home, whether it's a firearm, whether it's scissors, whether it's razor blades, anything of that nature. So the fact that this one officer went alone with her into this bedroom, now he claims that she reached for the gun and pulled the trigger, and he felt he was in imminent danger, and he shot her in the chest. Her version is she picked up the firearm and intended self-harm, put it up to her head, pulled the trigger, and the gun did not go off. Now, to me, typically when a gun doesn't go off, it's one of two things. Either a round has jammed within the chamber and needs to be cleared, or the gun wasn't loaded in the first place. Now, the officer says that when the gun did not go off, she attempted to reload. Now, reloading is different than clearing a weapon. If you have a round in the chamber that jams and the gun doesn't go off when you pull the trigger, then typically what you do is you rack the action and try to clear that jam round and expel it through the slide of the weapon, and then a new round will cycle up into the chamber. He's saying reload, which to me suggests either a magazine was dropped out of the weapon and a new loaded magazine was inserted, or the weapon was never loaded in the first place, which is why it didn't fire, and then she attempted to load a magazine with ammunition in it.
Wow. This is something to discuss, definitely, and look into. I want to thank Jodene Weber, retired FBI agent. We're going to keep you for across this break right now, and I want to thank you for being here. We'll be right back with retired FBI agent Jodene Weber. This is the Grace Curley Show.
This is the Grace Curley Show.
Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome back to the Grace Curley Show. My name is Mike Crawford. We have retired FBI agent Jodene Weber, author of the book, The Bold-Faced Deception, a great book of fiction you can check out. Also, she has a podcast, Caught in the Web is the podcast on Patreon. Jodene Weber, you were just talking about Kelsey Fitzsimmons before the break and some of the issues with what might have happened that day. There's been a lot of concerns about what actually did happen that day in terms of not checking, getting the gun out of the house before they let her roam around the house. There's also some other issues I wanted to maybe touch base on with this in terms of North Andover Police Department has several lawsuits filed in the past against this police chief and this police department, two female officers alleging sexual harassment. Lindsay is really the third female police officer to have issues at the North Andover Police Department. Do you think that's an issue in this case, the leadership of the North Andover Police, or not? Am I reading too much into that? What do you think as an retired FBI agent, Jodene?
Well, we'd have to see. Did she ever file any previous complaints about any of the other officers in the department with any sort of sexual harassment or retaliation for filing a complaint of potential sexual harassment? But again, this is where the lack of cameras, body cameras, really becomes a problem, because it becomes a he said, she said situation, very similar to a sexual harassment allegation. Now, one of the things with this officer, did he give her any oral commands? Drop your weapon. Let me see your hands. Because if he did and she didn't obey, that could be a justified shooting. However, we don't know because there is no camera footage. Additionally, did he have other measures with him? Did he have pepper spray, pepper gel? Did he have an aspeton? Did he have a taser? Anything he could have used besides his firearm to try to get the weapon away from her? Is there any sort of history of bad blood between her and any of the management within this department? All of that needs to be looked at.
Definitely. One other thing I want to look at today is the Karen Reed case, because you did cover that as well. And I know that you're a retired FBI agent. The big question, it's going back to court this next week in terms of the civil trial against Karen. Her attorneys are pretty much saying that they're going to also have their own lawsuit against the state of Massachusetts. But the big question that a lot of us have in Massachusetts is what are the feds going to do? They said they closed down the investigation. You're a former FBI agent, special agent. What do you think's going on with the FBI and Karen Read right now?
Well, I think the FBI is beholden to the Department of Justice since the change in the administration back after the inauguration. And so every new administration that comes in can set their own priorities. And so Department of Justice tells the FBI, as well as the other federal law enforcement agencies, what cases they will prosecute and which cases they won't. So if this doesn't fall as the type of public corruption or priority within this administration's priorities, then it won't be prosecuted. Even if the FBI thinks they've got a great case, even if there are individuals who now may be in a position to cooperate that weren't originally willing to cooperate. I definitely think we've got missing videos from 3 separate systems, the library, the Ring camera, and the Sally Port. At crucial times, that would have shown the taillight. That is problematic. What happened to those videos? Was there any tampering? Where is the metadata? Why wasn't the metadata produced by Canton PD? Why did Michael Proctor make sure he went and got all the videos, but yet didn't do contemporaneous reports and interviews in a timely fashion? And why weren't there chains of custody for all the evidence that was collected? And just all the problems evidence-wise in this case, with things on the bumper, the glass that didn't match except for other glass on the yard collected by Proctor. So many things just don't add up. I do think it really comes down to what is the United States Attorney's Office willing to prosecute. It doesn't mean a case isn't there. It's just a willingness to prosecute it.
Hopefully they will. I want to thank you so much, retired FBI agent Jodene Weber. Check out her podcast on Patreon, Caught in the Web. The Bold-Faced Deception is her new book of fiction you can also purchase. Jodene, what's the best way to people get in contact with you real quick?
You can go to my website, jodeneweber.com, JODENEWEBER.com. My book, The Bold-Faced Deception, and my podcast are there.
We'll be right back. Grace Curley Show.